Monchi's podcast.
Perfect. Sick. Nice. Yeah.
Awesome.
I really appreciate that you come on to the podcast. I think it would be good if you introduce yourself to the listeners, like with the nice sparkling parts.
So, my name is Kneeko. I am a psytrance enthusiast, and I made certain life decisions that made me more and more intertwined with the psytrance scene, both from my job side that we explored already, then from my artistic side, because I'm also a DJ and a new label manager, because I just started my record label. I manage events, I manage beats of events for larger organizations, from my events that I do in a squat here in Rome, from working in the art gallery at Modem. Maybe someone knows me from there, because I explain the psychedelic artworks at Modem to the people that come.
Nice.
Yes, a fun part of my job. Then, yes, I've been DJing for 18 years.
Wow.
Let's say, under the name Child OS.
Crazy.
And I also started a new record label called Blast Police Music, with which I try to develop a newish subgenre of underground psytrance.
Yeah.
With the help of some artists that support my vision, which I'm really grateful to.
Actually, also in the last podcast I did with Inside Out, we were wondering about the origins, or like the idea of the Blast Police record label foundation.
Let's say that the whole idea started from my experience as a DJ. I started DJing psytrance in 2007, and I was already an industrial DJ, and I first started DJing this dark psy that then later on became what was then called the high tech.
Mm-hmm.
But back then it was a bit slower than how it became. And there used to be a lot of offbeat parts that I personally loved, because they reminded me of techno music, which I also loved, even if I came from the industrial scene that was a bit different, but definitely there was no rolling bass. Mm-hmm. In the psytrance, in the industrial music that I used to DJ. Those offbeat, we used to call them funky beats of the track. They were actually the ones where people were having the most fun.
Yeah.
And I started selecting tracks that specifically had that feature, and I think that feature stayed all throughout the genres that I explored in my career as a DJ, because I played progressive music as well. I played dark prog. Then I switched to underground psytrance that was after a while called Twilight, which I have mixed feelings about.
Just about the name, like Twilight, because of the vampire stories, Twilight.
Because I was never fond of that movie. I used to love vampires. I have the diaries of the Dracula family over there, and I'm a fan of real scary vampires. So what are these vampires that can stay under the light, and because they shine, because they're actually shiny under the light, and they're vegetarian? Like, are you kidding me? But it was what it was, and I didn't have to deal much with that concept until they named the genre of music I was playing after.
What's your main takeaway, or what was like the hardest unexpected challenge for you in creating this label?
It's funny to say that, but I'm good at managing the promotion for my clients, and I've done that before. But when it's on me, it's a bit like, okay, so I'm gonna do this because this is going to work.
Yeah.
And then I saw that maybe something that I was doing wasn't giving the results that I was expecting. And
Yeah, and you're more attached, I guess, like more attached to your personal project. I imagine it like a little bit harder to be not as emotionally involved.
using the sync button.
Of course, yeah, and I'm using the sync button, yeah. But for me, it was really nice because my idea was, because when I started DJing, there were no psytrance DJs in the town I was living. So it was like, yeah, at least there is some psytrance playing. Like, I don't care. We don't had the choice of DJs X, Y, and Z. So this wasn't so important. And just to curate, to listen to the music I like the most, was like the biggest benefit for me. And then just to have like a good time with the music I like the most for me. Yeah, and then sometimes I need to do a mix, of course, but this was like secondary for me. And
no, in my case, I didn't have a choice because when I started DJ, there was no sync thing. Like there was no possibility, and I had to learn with a very cringy like Gemini all-in-one DJ booth that had this, it had the CD readers, and you could like push this button and the whole CD case would come out.
Will be ejected. Okay, what the fuck?
Yes.
You need to be really careful.
To push it in, and it didn't have the double listening on the headphones, like so. Yes, I had to learn how to DJ with one headphones in and one headphone out, just as I'm listening to you right now.
And man, it's so hard. I tried it once, and I can do it. Like if I take my time, I can do it. But since I'm so used to using sync, I would never do this like in a situation where it really matters that I do the transition and the mix on point. I can do it at home. I understand the concept, but
I haven't done it in maybe 16 years or something like that. I would be curious to do it again to see if it works.
I think it's such a small line, and it's such a tricky topic to, being inclusive and to not exploit like certain gender properties for marketing aspects or whatever. It's like a really thin line, and I also have the feeling like it's such a sensitive topic that it's almost impossible to doesn't offend somebody with the choices you make. There will be persons saying it's too less of that, it's too much of that.
I feel that, of course, there are still many, like the majority of artists are cis white men.
Yeah.
But yes, also like trying to give space to those who are not like that in general, rather than checking what someone has in their pants to decide if there's space for them or not is probably the right way. Because
I think we can agree on it, and I think it's also hard to disagree with this.
But the fact is also, it's a tricky it's a tricky topic. It's a tricky topic. But like also like the fact that we are also kind of struggling in debating it here and now between me and you shows that the whole scene and maybe the whole society is a bit behind in this. And I'm all up for starting to try and debate it and try to work it out with someone like you or with someone else. Whenever I have the opportunity, I speak about this.
Yeah, nice then. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me the space to talk about certain topics, because it never happened before. So I'm really, really grateful to you for doing this and for doing this podcast. That is amazing. And
you're welcome.